Are you looking for details of the most beautiful weekend hikes in southeast Queensland and further afield? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Everyday Hiker podcast. My name is Beck and I'm your host. Join me and my guest hikers as we share amazing locations, practical tips and guides for new hikers, as well as those with more experience looking for some inspiration. And please, if you like what you hear, follow me, share with your friends, rate my podcast and send me your feedback. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm really delighted today to have my special guest Julie. Welcome Julie Cross.
Thank you, great to be here Beck, thanks for having me.
Now Julie is an inspirational speaker, adventurer and part-time hiker, and you might wonder why Julie's here, and that is because she has done the brand new Ngaro Track up on Whitehaven Beach, Whitsunday Island in the Whitsundays, and because it is a brand new track, I just thought it would be great to talk to someone who's already done it, can give us all the inside knowledge of what's involved. So, Julie, let's kick off with, when did you do the track?
So we did it back in May. We felt pretty lucky actually to get on it because I think it booked out then for the year pretty quickly. So back in May is when we embarked on it, and we were a pretty regular group of hikers. There was only one new one amongst us, but he's a young, fit male who's in the army, so we weren't worried about his fitness level. But the rest of us, my sister-in-law, my niece, my girlfriend and I guess us older ladies all around that mid-50s to late 50s age range, and then a couple of the young ones with us. We're regular hikers, and we said, well, we better go and do this one. We've done quite a few around Australia, so it was time to get the pack back out of the mothballs. It had been a while since I'd had the big pack out. And do a bit of training and get ready for Ngaro.
So that's fantastic, because you're going to have some different experiences here because of the different ages. So we'll talk about that as we go through. Now, getting there is a bit of a journey to start.
Absolutely. With. So not an expensive track to book if you're doing it on your own, unguided. So we did that, but the expense comes in then with regards to getting there. So I live in Brisbane, so for me it's a flight to Proserpine, it's a shuttle bus then into Airlie Beach, and because of the timing of the hike as well, leaving early in the morning, we're arriving the night before, so it's accommodation the night before and then the night of when we get back, because you're getting back quite late as well. So I guess when you add that up, depending on where you're coming from, it can be a little bit more expensive. But anyway, still worth it, so we booked it. And then you've also got the ferry ride, and it's actually the ferry ride that is probably the most expensive part of it, which we all sort of had a fair bit of discussion on. I don't know if they've got a monopoly on it at the moment. And I would say that it probably, for the price they were charging us, they could have probably done a little better job with that comfort. It was a very uncomfortable ride in a very uncomfortable vessel. But anyway, that's just nitpicking at things that I think that as it moves and as it grows and as it's more people go and they get feedback, I wonder if they will change that slightly. But anyway, that's how you got to do it if you want to do it. So we got there. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of Tasmania's Three Capes, and they include the ferry
trip,
and they do a bit of a cruise around, which is really great. So that could be some great
that's what we thought when we finished. Why didn't they make that really part of it, where you're in the most beautiful passage of water and yet you really couldn't see out because you're sort of sitting down low in this vessel, and he went so fast, it was so rough, but we just thought that could have been a much more, I think that did more damage than the actual hike was the ferry trip, especially on the way back. But anyway, it'll be interesting as time goes as to whether they might improve that and give you some commentary as you're going through this beautiful part of the world to arrive at your hike. But it was so loud you couldn't talk anyway because the engine was so loud. But anyway,
so part of the adventure was getting there.
Exactly.
But are you actually disembarking on Whitehaven Beach?
Yes, so you're disembarking on, I think it is actually they say it's the southern end of Whitehaven Beach is where you arrive, and we hop off there. It's early, so we have a swim when we get there, because it's just stunning. It is so stunning. And so we had a swim straight away pretty much, and a few of the other hikers did as well, we noticed. And then we started ambling off and following the arrows. And it was nice to arrive early in the campsite because it was such a magnificent campsite. You kind of arrive and they've got these incredible purpose-built shelters and common areas where big tables, wooden tables, big stainless steel benches where you can prepare your meals, although you do have to take everything with you. Everything you take in and everything you take out. But a lovely communal area and the most magnificent view. So Moon Camp it's called, and you sit there and watch the moon rise over this incredible, spectacular vista of blue water, of these beautiful cliffs all around you. It just gives me goosebumps talking about it. You just sort of walk in and you just go, this is unbelievable. This is what it's about. This is the Whitsundays. This is what we were walking for. So, it was kind of nice in the end to have a bit of extra time there too. And then it's choosing your site, your campsite, and it is platforms. So, it was the first time I'd actually done platforms. Mostly I'd done on the ground with our tents. So they do have the wooden platforms for you to use. So just remembering to take something to tie down. You can use rocks, and we managed to use our actually tent pegs worked in between the slats, but yours may not fit. So just maybe come up with some options to take with you in case you need to tie down. Set up our campsite and then just enjoyed watching the sun go down and, watching this beautiful moonrise and the beautiful starry night. It was wonderful. So, got a good sleep.
So you're on a beach. If you're in a bay, can you swim there?
We swam when we arrived at Whitehaven. We could have swum at lunchtime as well at the beach, but here you are literally on a cliff top.
Right.
So it's not actually on the beach. The second night we're on the beach.
Okay.
So this is just all about the view, really. So, you're up high on a cliff and it's all about the view. Good sleep. And then the next morning we had to say goodbye and keep on walking. Keep on walking for day 2. So day 2, we're walking to what they call tree camp on day 2. And we have 9.8 kilometres. But it is hard hiking. They're designating as a hard day hiking. And it was hard day hiking. I don't mind telling you, Beck, it just felt a bit hard today. It had been a while since I'd done full pack, so my pack's sitting at about 12 kilos. I did a little bit of practice again, but if you're not used to packing with a full pack where you've got to take all your food and all your tents and, everything with you, then you need to do some practice, I would say, because it was a bit of a tough day with elevation. We climbed up the top of this massive mountain. I should know the name. I don't, but you'll know it when you get there. And we'd actually been seeing the mountain. The toilets have these spectacular views at the campsite. And if I'd realised that the toilet I was sitting in at Moon Camp, I'm looking at this massive rock in front of me, thinking, that's a beautiful rock. Little did I know I'd be on top of it the next day. So that's the rock you're walking up on. So it was a bit tough, but, doable. If you're a regular hiker and you're used to pack walking, then, of course, it's very doable. There are steps. There's ladder, and then there are steps. That it looks a bit scary when you first get there, and it was quite windy. But again, just taking care and being aware as you're going up them. I leant forward and actually put my hands in front of the step in front of me because that just felt more stable for me. And I wish I had recommended my mate behind me didn't hop on the steps until I'd got up, because I thought afterwards that if I just slipped or something, I could have taken her out. So just being aware, pulling yourself into the moment in that sort of space and saying, righto, a step at a time and doing it safely. And then you get to the top and again you turn around and you're like, oh my gosh, look at that view. And it's also worth it. So, a bit of a tougher day.
So Julie, I'll stop you there because we were talking beforehand. You actually showed me some photos, and I think giving people an appreciation for what's involved in the hike is really important. So you showed me the stairs, and one of the things I thought straight away is, if I face those without a pack, I'd probably be like, okay, take your time.
Yes.
Fine. It's completely different, though, when you're like a giant turtle.
That's right. And your weight's pulling you back, and it's windy, which for me is why I leant forward. I just felt more stability in leaning forward, a lower profile, because that wind felt like it could just whip you. And, of course, you've got your pack, so you've got a little bit more area, where the wind can sort of hit on you there. So, yes.
Yeah, so I think the message to take out of it is that if you are contemplating this hike, you do have to do some training. So you need to do some hills training.
Absolutely.
But you need to do some pack training.
Absolutely.
So take your pack up the local set of stairs.
The pack really does change everything, and I know when my sister came on a hike with me the first time, and she's a great walker. She walks fast, she walks regularly, she's fit, she's strong, all of that. Great walker, but she'd never done any real training and practice consistently with a pack on. And so, when she came on that first hike, she was pretty teary because it really was, she was really challenged and really realise that it does make a difference. And we don't walk around with 12 kilos on our back on a regular basis. So, of course, it's going to change everything. So not to scare people off doing it, but you have to do the training. You have to go prepared. Now, that doesn't mean, you don't go and think, well, I should have done a little more preparation or, I wasn't prepared for this bit. But you've got to do enough to know that you're confident that, because, very early on when I started hiking, that realisation hits where it's like they're not going to send a helicopter in because you've got blisters, or they're not going to send a helicopter in because you're tired now, or your shoulder's a bit sore from carrying the pack, or your back's hurting a little bit. You've got to have some grit, but you've also got to be prepared.
And it's one way, you've got to keep going.
Yes, that's right. Side. And no one else is going to carry your back. They've all got their own back. So that realisation. But, of course, you get to the hill and then you get to go down again and walk into your next campsite, which is Tree Camp. And this is by the beach. So kind of, when you walk in, same thing. It's in this sort of lovely little area with palm trees and all sorts of different trees. It's sort of nestled in. But then you can look through and you can see this beautiful beach. So we set up and we took our chairs, which is my go-to that you always take, and straight down to the beach to do afternoon snacks and some water, some drinks on the beach. There's some hydration and I had a swim. We had, because you either be salty or smelly, so we decided we'd go with salty. Because there's no showers. So we had a swim and enjoyed watching the sunset come. It was beautiful again. Beautiful.
Makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely.
So is day 3 a little less challenging than day 2?
Yeah, day 3 actually they still rate as hard, which is interesting. I don't think it's long.
So they're probably rating it hard because of the
distance. So it is long. It's 13.8 kilometres. And this again is a day where, how long is it going to take us? We've got to make it back for the ferry because the ferry's picking you up that afternoon. So you've got a time. It's longer. They rated it as hard. It could take us forever. So let's leave early. Let's get out there. Let's rush. But here's the other thing with the dynamic of the hiking group. So we have 2 young ones who, are faster than us and are into getting there because they're still in that mindset. We just got to get there. And I just want to forest bathe and enjoy it a little bit more, but then you don't want to have them waiting on you or thinking that you're taking too long and maybe something's wrong and you've got no way to communicate. So you kind of feel pressure anyway to keep up a little bit as well. So we got there and we had plenty of time. But so they do rate it as hard. And I think sometimes what I've learnt with rating, the way we rate hikes in Australia as well, sometimes they say hard also because it may not be as well signed. And you might just need to be aware of where you're going and really watching for those arrows. And there are a couple of little times where you sort of think, which way should we be going again? So I sometimes think that's why they also, you've just got to be a bit more mindful about where you're going. So no, not as hard as day 2, but this has a spectacular view, but you've got to go to the lookout. So that's what I would really recommend on this hike as well. Anytime there's a side trip for a lookout, always go and do the side trip because this one particular one on day 3 is just probably the most spectacular vista of the whole hike. And it was an easy you leave your packs at the bottom and you just walk up to this sort of view area where you're on the coast again and looking across again at all this magnificent area that you've just hiked through, but also the coastline.
So it's not a coastal walk as such,
no,
is it? Not
and
like
that's
3 caves.
That's what I think is a little bit surprising for people is that, yes, it is very much internal, but then you come out in these areas where you suddenly see where you've been walking through and you're on the edge again. So always do the little side tracks to go and see the views.
And get those coastal
views.
You
get perspective then as well,
Yes, to see where you are.
And day 3's also got the mangrove walk, which is another sort of, mixing it up a little bit again. So you've got a walk that goes through all this sort of mangrove area, which is nice too, a little meander. So.
And what about wildlife? Did you encounter any along the track?
We didn't see a lot of wildlife, I would say. Birds, we saw lots of birds. No crocodiles, I'm happy to report.
Too salty, too far out.
Yeah, that's right. So no, I wouldn't say, there were no snakes or anything like that. So no, not a lot of wildlife at all. actually.
Okay, but what about fauna? I'm assuming, like you said,
Oh,
it's
yeah, all the
changed.
fungi and, the change in, the change in around you all the time with regards to this sort of, 1 minute you're walking through sort of palm trees and then the vegetation changes again. So, and I really love that. I love that. And also, you're on rocks and I love it when a walk's different. That's why I love the Thorsbourne Trail on Hinchinbrook Island, because I felt like the walking's changing all the time. You're sort of rock hopping 1 minute and then you're walking through a river crossing. So there's a couple of river crossings in this as well. And then, you're walking through different sort of vegetation areas. So, it's nice for that as well.
What was the temperature like? Was it comfortable?
Yeah, it was. Definitely beautiful time for walking, which is why the walk would be open in that time of year. Beautiful temperature for walking during the day. The girls all took something warmer for night, because it did get a little bit cool at night, and especially when you're sitting on the edge at Moon Camp there and you're exposed. And so I didn't, because I was adamant I wasn't taking too much. I always take too much, and this time I packed really lightly. And so I didn't. I just took one long sleeve shirt that I slept in as well, and that was it. I didn't take an extra jacket, and that was fine. I didn't take a rain jacket. I decided if it was raining, I'm getting wet, because up there it's not as if you get wet and it's freezing cold either.
Yeah.
It's usually still quite warm. So we did have a little bit of rain on one day, but not enough to even worry about, really. So that was a good move as well in the end. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend not taking a rain jacket, but I didn't, because I just wanted lightweight.
No, I saw the pictures of you in your pack, so there's still a fair bit of stuff.
That's right.
So I can imagine that
the girl's got to eat.
So let's talk water for a start.
Yes.
Because we're on a tropical island. What did you do with water?
So they have water at every campsite, and they actually have two other water stops on day 3 and day 2, which is great. So sort of halfway through your hike you can fill up. So I actually didn't, they recommend 3 litres. I think most days I walk with 2. Knowing that I could fill up anyway. And so the first day I think I had the extra, and then the next day I went, you know what, I didn't go close to using that. I'm backing off, because it's all weight, and water weighs a lot carrying it. So
absolutely. And did you have to filter it? Did they recommend it?
They did recommend it, and some of us did, some of us didn't. We started off doing it and then didn't worry about it. So but I just took some tablets anyways. And some of the girls had those filter water bottles. Yeah,
that's good.
Yes.
Okay. And so food,
yes,
that's the main weight in your pack, you think?
Yeah, well, I think it is. It must be. Well, food, I mean, I got the lightest tent you can get. I upgraded everything. I got the lightest mattress in the world, the lightest tent in the world, the lightest everything. But you think, why does this still weigh so much? And you're eating your food and you're thinking it's not getting any lighter. But I think we were all talking about that. It's surprising how much food weighs, when you do sort of pick it all up and you go, oh, that weighs a fair bit. But again, I was really good with my food. I pretty much ate everything I took.
So in terms of cooking facilities, barbecues and with a gas stove?
No, nothing like that. So just benches. You've got to take your burners, you've got to take your saucepans, you've got to take everything, your food, everything. So you still need to take everything with you.
Yeah, to cook with it.
Unlike 3 Capes that you've kind of got cooking facilities. No, you still need to take everything. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic to know, because that's going to add to your weight. So despite going through and tossing out some things maybe, or deciding not to take some things, was there anything that you took that you thought, I didn't really need that?
Well, I don't think there was in the end. I think I did really well in the end with everything that I took. But I did, after doing so many hikes now, I did really pull back. And the other thing to do, which I don't know if groups do often enough, is when you're in a group, like my girlfriend took the kettle and I said, well, I'll bring the saucepan. So when we're cooking, we use my saucepan.
You were sharing.
And we'll share the kettle. So we just shared. And how many gas burners do we really need between all of us, and how many refills of gas do we need? So just being a bit smarter like that. I think we were a bit smarter like that this time too, that we didn't all take everything for ourselves, that we said, well, what are you taking? Well, I can leave that and I'll take this instead. So we were a bit more aware of that. So I don't think in the end that there was anything that I didn't use or that I shouldn't have taken. And I only took 2 sets of clothes, so one that I walked in first day and then I slept in the second set at night, walked in the same clothes the second day, slept in those next ones on the second night, the same new clothes, and then wore them out on the third day. So,
3-day hike.
Yeah, that's right, and you can get away with that, yeah.
So conversely, was there anything that you wished you'd taken that you didn't take?
No. But the thing that I am so pleased that I took, that I would recommend everybody take, is a chair. Not so much important, I guess, for this one because you have got stools and that at the campsites. But the chair for us, and I think all of us would say the same thing, the first time we all did a hike without a chair and one person had a chair, we were all just so envious. And jealous, because when you just want to have a break after hiking, you take your pack off, sometimes you just want to sit back. You don't want to sit on a hard rock, or, you want to lean back into something comfortable, and just those little hiking chairs where you can just relax, it's comfortable, you've got a little bit of support for your back. It just makes such a difference, and going down and sitting on the beach and being able to take your chair down and relax and letting your body relax a little bit. In a sitting position, fantastic. So we all love our chairs. I think for us it's, are you taking your chair? We're always taking our chair. We're taking our chair. So even if not at night, for during the day for those breaks as well.
I saw this amazing invention the other day where you get the sleeping mat, and it's kind of like a hammock that you fold the sleeping mat into sort of thirds, I guess, and you put the bottom 2/3 into this hammock, you clip it on, and it forms like a soft chair. And I thought that's very clever because I'm with you just need a comfy seat at the end of the day.
Yes, that's right. And just to give you, your back a rest, everything a rest. So,
and
yes.
In terms of gear you were wearing,
yes.
Can you talk to me about what shoes you had on?
Oh, so I'm doing the hikers' shoes, low profile shoes now. So I had been wearing the heavy usual hiker boots, but I'd started wearing the what are they called? The shoes that you wear that
trail shoes.
So they're just a low profile shoe. So, and I did break them in a little bit. I've still lost 3 toenails, but I think that's my tying of my shoes. So when you're going downhill, your feet sort of are heading into the front of your shoe. And I've got no blisters or anything like that. Toe socks for me are a game changer again when you're getting blisters. Toe socks for me are really important. We just use the hiking shirts that dry very, easily and quickly, and hiking shorts and pants. So, but I'd have to say the last day, when we finished on the last day, actually take togs because you will want to have a swim. And that's where the ferry was picking up from. So we were at that beautiful lookout on the other end of Whitehaven Beach then, looking out at this magnificent lookout. And if you want to go down into Whitehaven to have a swim, you've kind of got to walk back down the stairs again and have a swim. Otherwise, you're getting picked up from Tongue Bay, which is kind of over a little bit further. And that's where it's a bit rocky for swimming. So, if you want to have a swim, then swim in Whitehaven.
Okay. Did you take poles?
No, but my sister-in-law is a pole carrier, so she did take poles, and she loves her poles. The rest of us didn't have poles. I haven't gotten used to working with poles yet, so I'm not a pole walker.
Depends on the tracks.
But they do recommend it,
Okay, great. So I think we've covered everything.
Yes.
Yeah, we've covered all the gear, we've covered what the walk is like.
And it is beautiful. Do it. If you're a hiker and you're looking for that next hike, then highly recommend it. It's just stunning. It's a beautiful part of our world, and breathtaking. The views are breathtaking, and the walk's beautiful. It's a beautiful walk. They've done a great job with it.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Julie. I
Thank you,
really
Beck.
appreciate your time.
So
that's the Ngaro Track. I will put the link and all the details on the show notes for this episode. So thank you as always for listening. If you like what you heard, please do throw me a follow, share with your friends, and until next time, happy hiking.
Happy hiking.